Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Rebellion.
Welcome back. We hope that the rest of the U.S. is handling that heat wave okay. Where we're at right now, it's about 95 in the shade, which is actually pretty nice considering it hit 103 yesterday, 102 the day before that. So please, everyone, stay inside, keep hydrated, try and stay cool. And that's going to touch on our topic, which again this week, unfortunately, has got to be the COVID-19 epidemic. There's just been so many resurgences of cases here in California, Florida, other states, and partly Israel, people just not just getting stir crazy, but trying to beat the heat, desperately wanting to do those outdoor activities, going to the beaches, going to pools, going to anywhere where there's water where you can swim or, cool off. And unfortunately, it's just a massive, massive spike in cases now. And I'm going to touch on it real quickly. And I apologize. I have to use the phone, so if I'm getting a little too close and the volume's getting a little goofy because of it, please forgive me.
Don't worry about it.
Hopefully it'll stay on there. But this is
hey guys.
This is actually from a Vox.com article from a Dr. Clay Ackerley that went out tonight, and the title of it is, "My Patient Caught COVID-19 Twice, So Long to Herd Immunity Hopes." And so, that's the upshot of it, guys. Apparently, you can catch the disease more than once, and even more frightening. It seems as in, basically this guy's saying his patient's 50 years old back in July, and that COVID-19 may also be much worse the second time around. During his first infection, my patient experienced a mild cough and sore throat. His second infection, in contrast, was marked by a high fever, shortness of breath, and hypoxia, which is inability to draw oxygen deprivation, resulting in multiple trips to the hospital. Okay? So he said, recent reports and conversations with physician colleagues suggest my patient is not alone. 2 patients in New Jersey, for instance, appear to have contracted COVID-19 a second time, almost 2 months after fully recovering from their first infection. Yeah. So I'm not going to abandon all hope of a vaccine or something, but as I stated early on, I don't think it's going to be viable in this kind of a situation. And clearly, even the concept of herd immunity, where everyone just gets sick and has it, it's not viable because that's going to result in not only too many infections, way too many deaths as well. We're going to have people just dropping like flies over this. So that's just not good. Oh, guys, let me cap those in. Sorry, guys. Her son is autistic and a little loud. He doesn't think we may have to close the door. We do apologize. And then, a similar line, California now, I think we're going to have to close
trying to get you on camera.
Indoor restaurants, movies, bars.
Just here, hold it yourself. Here, I'll get it there.
So, we're dealing with loud capitals. But our governor, Kevin Newsom, said he's going to close all bars in most counties in the states, all indoor operations of businesses, including restaurants, movie theaters, museums.
It sucks.
Any other wineries, tasting rooms, family entertainment centers, zoos, car rooms, all of it. It's just going to be shut down.
Yeah, so no Universal Studios, no Disneyland, none of that.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Not in California. It's which means no work for me because I was supposed to start looking for Universal right before the COVID started.
Yeah, as I stated, I was
looking forward to having a paycheck, and now I don't have one. Here, sit down. Or we can. We can set it up now properly.
And I apologize for not wearing anything more than the old shirt right now, guys. It's like I said, it's
hot. It was 106 yesterday. It was supposed to be 108, so we actually lucked out with it being 106.
All right, there you go. Now we can quit bouncing around, and you can actually get a decent view of us without us being hitherly bigger thing. So long story short, again, is it's really bad. People went to this little place, that little place, whatever. Now they've got it. Now they're really sick. People who've had it before are getting even more sick. So it's
there's no herd immunity thing happening, and that's bad. That's because this thing was manufactured in a lab, and they made a mistake with this thing. Okay,
we cannot say unequivocally we believe it was.
Okay, let me say what I can say. Okay, that's true. We could turn on the TV and show this. The Nobel Peace Prize winning scientist who discovered HIV and AIDS came out on French TV and said that it was a manufactured disease that was put together in a lab, and he believed this absolutely because there are proteins from other diseases, and that doesn't happen in nature.
Exactly. So we have no proof.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Empirically verify it. It's very unlikely that it's not. And again,
only because of this guy. Why would he not say that on French TV?
The simple fact again that you can be. It's not unheard of for people to be reinfected by different kinds of viruses.
Yeah.
But it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
An example would be something like chicken pox.
Yeah.
Okay. I had chickenpox as a kid, and then years later I had this thing that they have called Bell's palsy, which is like a little mini stroke thing, whatever. But it's mostly due to extreme stress, breakdown, a bunch of stuff when your system just gets overloaded and goes into another mode, right? As opposed to being basically perfectly healthy, you know what I mean? Contracting this.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I want to say is I'm glad that we're doing our testing, but we've known for months now that you can be perfectly healthy in terms of showing no signs, no cough, no fever, nothing that would indicate in any way, shape, or form that you are carrying the virus, yet be a carrier, yet be contagious.
Okay, but let's try to be hopeful for a second.
I'm just saying, a lot of the testing guys, just bear in mind when you go out and you see, well, that person's cool, they're not having fever. That person's cool, they're fever. They may not be as acutely contagious as other people, but they themselves may be utterly unaware.
That's why they still want you to wear a mask, because it's not for sure.
The mask helps them, it helps you. It is absolutely not for stopping the spread.
It's just about you not spraying spittle on things and on people unconsciously. That's all it is. It just keeps you from doing that.
And we now know that the virus can be airborne in the form of those droplets in the air for much longer.
I do want to talk to you about breathing, though, because there are things you can do to increase your oxygen intake. I'm actually kind of an expert on that, as I'm a singer, and I'm an opera singer, firstly, and breathing is a huge, huge thing when you're a singer, okay? It's everything, basically. It's almost more, it's just as important as training your voice as training yourself how to breathe. So basically, what almost everybody in the world is getting too little oxygen, and they have been since way before the mask, okay? Because people mostly only breathe from the very top of their lungs here. And this is something that you pick up unconsciously in toddlerhood. You literally watch your parents breathing wrong, and you start unconsciously breathing wrong. And I say it's wrong because
you want to breathe into the stomach.
Wait. Just as a baby, you breathe from your diaphragm, which is here, right below my boobies, right here. And when you breathe in, your stomach should go out, and that will bring the lower part. It's filling up the lower part of your lungs, as well as the upper part. You're getting a full deep breath. Okay. All singers and actors know how to breathe from the diaphragm, and it's like whether they do it all the time or not, but they all know how. And I have trained myself to do it all the time because why should I not? If it's the proper way, it's the way all animals breathe. It's the way you're born breathing as a baby, and you breathe like that for a long time. So I breathe like that, and I have been. It also it has the effects of slowing down aging a little bit because it has more of an effect of calming you. Whereas when you breathe shallowly, like we're almost all taught to do, it makes you unconsciously feel a little nervous all the time, and you don't even. It's like there are so many things that are part of our lives that are sort of insidiously keeping us down that you wouldn't even believe it. Like, you learn this stuff in acting school. In acting and music school, they teach you about breathing and all this kind of stuff and how basically everyone's going around a little bit oxygen deprived anyway. So what mask or no, breathe deep from your diaphragm. And that'll help.
Without the mask at first,
I'm saying, like, when you're out with the mask, you can't feel like you can't breathe. Breathe from your diaphragm. Put the cloth right up against your mouth so that it's right there. There's no air in between. And breathe from your diaphragm. And that helps a lot. It helps a lot.
Or step outside, go to your car, take the thing off for a second, take a deep breath.
Obviously that's your take break.
The whole mouth breather thing is really kind of a misnomer. It's just that ideally, for the best respiratory function, you want to inhale through your nose. Deeply, she said, pointing into your stomach, out of your lungs, and then
ideally through your nose, into your stomach, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Which is what you tend to do in regular exercise. It's only when you're like really hitting a point where you're because you overextended your body's capacity. That's your body's key to you that you have to do those panting breaths like a dog. And a lot of this between the COVID, the heat, just being stuck at home, and become much more sedentary. God knows I've become way more sedentary than I have been in years. And it does have an effect. You'll notice yourself a little more sluggish, a little more achy, a little more headachy. Yeah, it's been crazy. These last few weeks, astrologically and stuff, have been so crazy. They've been so crazy. And, like, it's been hard for everybody. Like, I'm actually waking up sore and stuff. Like, I've been working out even when I haven't. Like, I've been running and stuff. And I don't know. I don't like it. But, like, what you can do if you're about being sedentary, I've been doing squats every 4 sets of 25 squats, and that really helps your overall health because your legs have a lot to do with vascularity and health. It's very important. If you're doing squats, You're also working on your abs and a bunch of other stuff.
Assuming
really
that
helps.
you haven't got a knee condition,
Yeah,
be sure you're healthy. But she's correct in the sense that all the exercises you could do physiologically, if you had to do just one exercise, that really is the best for the entire body. I know it doesn't sound like it would make anything good for body, but Franco Columbu, who was my own personal mentor since I met the guy, but I was admired him. He's the one who passed away recently, was a friend and companion of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he always recommended that, said, listen, you have to understand that getting large and getting healthy is about one thing, vascularity, blood flow.
Yeah.
And it is a body-wide system. It's not like, let me get this, okay, you have to go for the biggest veins and arteries in your body. Those are here in your thighs and your quadriceps. So when you're working out your quadriceps,
a lot of men neglect their legs.
When you're working out, that's your femoral artery. That's the biggest blood thing. So when you get your thighs nice and healthy, nice and jacked, nice and just filling and pumping with blood, it corresponds to the rest of your upper body, and you will actually get much more growth in your muscles, even if you're not really exercising them per se, just kind of stretching them out, just from having so much blood flow in your lower legs and lower body. And again, it's going to strengthen your core. It's going to hit your rectus abdominis muscle. It's going to hit the obliques. It's going to hit that little thing down here in the pelvis area. You know what I mean? It's going to hit your glutes. It's going to hit your quad. It's going to hit your hamstrings. You know what I mean?
I'm having really good results. It's helping me lose weight and, like, you know,
there was a famous
get
bodybuilder.
stronger.
I can't think of the guy's name. I believe he was French. There was two that were famous. The one guy, that's what he did with squats. Nothing. That's all he did was squats for the most part. Like if he did, 200 things in a day, he did like 180 squats and 20-something others. Yeah. And then there was another compatriot, and all this guy ever did was use dumbbells. Look them up, and they're just, even at the time, they were huge. Yeah. For our time, it's like
they're because it was people didn't get as buff then. But either.
But yeah, the point is that you can still do stuff, and clearly I'm not.
Yeah, like you can do a few squats. Just get up, do like 25 little squats, and sit down and rest. And a couple hours later, when you're feeling stir crazy, do it again. If you do that 4 times a day, you've done 100 squats, and that's a whole thing people do.
Yeah, that's an entire.
But anyway, let's talk about astrology a little bit, because I was going to talk a little bit about things that are going on. Now, from one perspective, if you're in the higher dimensions where the time stops being a real thing, the end times could, in a sense, come at any time. And really, but the thing is, once they have been decided, the time's been decided upon, everything in your Mandela effect universe will reflect that it is like we are now. Like we have the 2012 prophecies. Now we have the Julian calendar might have shifted 2012 to 2021 or 2020. And, because if you don't know, we lost 8 days. Was it 8 or 11 days? No, it was 11 days in the Middle Ages because
when they switched from the Gregorian to the Julian calendar.
Yeah, when they switched calendars, it was off because the seasons were slightly off, so they switched it. But some people are saying that if we had stayed with that calendar, we would be about 8 years off, which is right now.
And we all got to agree that 2020 is much more 2012 than 2012 was.
Yeah, I mean, a lot more is going on. There's a lot more unrest. There's like this disease. I know, listen, I know because I was shown from above that everybody who can hold light is going to be okay. I don't know for sure what dimensional plane they're going to be on when they're okay, but they're going to be okay, okay? I know that because I saw it, but I can't always say how that manifests because that's like I was part of the Godhead when I saw that, and it's like looking at a petri dish, kind of, to be honest. It's like it's really small and it's really far away until you're actually in it like I am here. Like we're in it now. So now I'm here and I can see things privately, but there's all of us are part of the Godhead. All of us are part of that one big mind. This is like a thing that happens to people too, like even Krishna. Krishna probably was born special and to be special, but just because he was born to be a special guy doesn't mean that he was totally correct in everything he thought. Like he thought he was the one God, the end-all, be-all, and he was. But so are you, and so is every single person in the Matrix, too. It's just some people's avatars click better with the players. This is the real truth of karma. The real truth of karma is what you're working on is making yourself into such a great avatar that at some point in your far future or near future, hopefully, your higher self will click into your body and become part of you, and you will become a living God, a living avatar of a higher force. And But when that happens, when you are really downloading your true higher self like that all the time, it won't happen if you're a bad person, okay? It won't happen if you're messed up. Like, even what's kind of funny is there are people who are darker leaning who teach some of these methods. And the one guy I'm thinking of, he does talk a lot about heart chakras. And the thing is, this is why I laugh a little bit, because he sells a lot of stuff. He's very popular with certain people. The thing is, as long as you're working with your heart chakra, you're not evil, you're not completely evil. He's being very practical in ways. He's sort of showing himself as evil, but if he's really connecting his heart chakra and teaching other people to connect through their heart and to do the things, he's being very radical and rebellious, but he isn't walking as evil path as he thinks he is what I'm saying, which is nice, because there's a lot of people who fall for evil because good has let them down, in their opinion. I know it's, for those of us who still have faith in good, it's hard to understand that or accept that, but it's true. Like, so many people grew up in, say, the Catholic Church, like I did, and have seen it fall and become something just so messed up that, like, it's just not okay, It's not okay at all, Anything that's happened is okay? And here's the part that upsets me personally the most, is that there are visions of Mary that people see on a regular basis, semi-regular basis, some people. Okay? You don't have to believe in them or whatever, but I was raised Catholic, so I was raised to believe in them. If they're real, and some of them have massive amounts of people who've seen them, why is she not talking about the things that go on in the church? That's my only question. And I don't mean to keep losing people. I know I'm being sad. But, like, yeah, it's like, I don't know why she doesn't mention that stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, people have thought things were good that weren't good. And you have to follow your heart when it comes to good. You have to just be a good person because you want to be. You know what I mean? Like, you guys can talk, too. And I'm glad you're here, but you guys can ask me stuff, and I'll answer your question, anything you want to say, because I have a lot of shit I could say. But, like, yeah, there's the astrology of it is, like, the whole great year thing is real. All that stuff's real. But because we live in a multidimensional world, it could shift. It won't now because we're all dialed into this universe, But, like, it could shift to almost any time. It's more about, like, how the higher dimensional beings that are outside of time click into our reality, in a sense, It's literally like you or yourself are looking through your own eyes. And what's looking through your eyes is the higher dimensional being that's pretending to be you right now, okay? So it's like you're having a great time in some way, even if you're miserable, and that sucks because I've been very miserable, so I know that sucks. But you're pretending to be this, okay? Now that's fine because the spirit above you can come in here, have a whole life as like Bruce Adam, my friend Bruce Adam, okay? Have a whole life as him, be a nice guy, just have a life, and then it can leave this whole role behind and become God again, okay? What changes is when you, as a higher being, want to become a new version of yourself, and that's when you want to leave behind an old avatar and take on a new avatar, and once again, this is where you, as a human being, want to be in a good state of karma so that your higher self will want to click through you and become something more. And once you do that, for a little while, you are the matrix. You're in the center of the matrix, and you can manipulate everything, okay? And I'm not quite there, but I would like to be. Because I'll just walk around doing nice stuff, quietly. Because I really don't like, people to know about bigger stuff I do. But, like, but you can vibe up from there into a higher dimensional plane, which is the real world. They'll tell you the real world is the better place that you thought existed when you were a kid. The real world is the place that you think deep in your heart, you're like, why is the world like this? Why isn't the world better? Why aren't the people nicer? What is all this stuff? That's the world that's real. This world is filled with darkness, and people get infected with it, and it makes them act like assholes. And the higher dimensional beings that deal with us basically treat us like we're mental patients, and they're all trying to heal us of this collective disease.
Okay, I'm going to say something, guys.
Good, please.
Not hatefully, just...
Yeah. Thank you. Smoke a little weed. It actually does provide some protection.
Have you guys ever seen that video?
The goddess always provides. Go ahead.
Have you guys ever seen that video of the chimpanzee pissing in his own mouth? Yeah!
Oh, that.
Hey, we ain't horrible, but whatever. That's how they see us. They're so far removed from physical things like needing to eat, defecate, have sex. Even on our best days when we're our cleanest and healthiest and raw, they're looking at us like,
yeah. It's like we can't help it, and we try so hard to be better.
So you got to understand, when you're dealing with these things, they're just looking at you like this writhing, squiggling, wiggling meat sack that's oozing.
It's true, but I like to think of it like...
Okay, I'm just saying, just try to be aware of how they see you, and try to be aware of that quality within yourself, and let that go. Yeah. Just remember, the point of the pentagram goes up for a reason, that when you're dealing with them, you have to kind of, not so much abdicate flesh, but you just completely embrace spirit. You have to say spirit over flesh. This is what's higher. Okay, none of my wants, none of my needs, none of my physicality, they're taken care of. I mean, if I got a growling belly, one thing, but like I've got, you know what I mean? And I'm really trying to concentrate more on that, which is higher. Again, you're just going up the old Sephiroth. You know what I mean? It's nice to stay on Malkuth.
That's what ascension is. It's like going up to the Sephiroth is just a way of taking it into your own hands, And honestly, though, a lot of magicians who go through the Golden Dawn system, for instance, they get through their own sort of mental thing, their own aura, but they haven't crossed into the greater world yet. It's almost like they're preparing for it by fixing their own internal self, and they aren't aware that they need to go on further yet. It's like whoever's been revealing it to us, like ascended masters that have been revealing some of this to us over the years, have been slowly sort of expanding the curriculum for us so that we can get bigger and better and stronger over time. Go ahead.
You have to go outside yourself and be honest, be objective with yourself, what you like about yourself, what you don't like, what you're trying to achieve in your spiritual journey. And most importantly, admit to your own evidence of mortality, that you are going to die someday, that you know you're in a physical body, and that's one of the reasons you're doing this, because you're trying to conquer not just your fear of death, but your understanding of death, and whether there is something before, during, or after, whatever that is, that's your quest, to truly know it as it is, not as you would conceive it or need it to be, but as it is. And this is the problem so many people make on their spiritual journey. They just butt their heads against a rock. They can't deal with the nature of in the sense of like microcosm. You guys know about real quick, microcosm, macrocosm?
Yeah.
Microcosm is like the smallest brought down, macrocosm is the greatest pushed up. So like if I were a man, I'm looking out at the microscope, that's kind of like a microcosmic view of the world.
Fractals.
If I'm looking up through a telescope, that's sort of a macrocosmic view. And you're sort of, hold on one second. You're sort of a microcosmic human in a macrocosmic universe or world, whatever, and it's just remembers that constant up, down, back and forth, in and out, left and right, that gets people confused and makes them forget how to honestly operate outside themselves. Because I know it was a big thing for me, my ego, and having to admit that, the reality of reality is something completely different than what I wanted it to be. And what it really boils down to is just, if you're going to rise at all, you got to let go of everything that makes you you.
Yeah.
In terms of your name, your sense of self, your identity, everything except your purest consciousness and cognizance.
Yeah, and that's so hard for people to understand. That
the first time you try to still your mind, and you get like old jingles from when you were 6 years old cropping up, commercials you forgot. Crap's buried in here. There's a lot buried up here, guys. And just that process of trying to still your mind alone and literally let no thoughts come in and just be thoughtless is really hard.
Yeah.
And that's part of the process of just not denying yourself, but allowing, instead of saying, no, God, just let it grow. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let that consciousness, that third eye, that understood awareness, okay? Because here's the trick, man. You've time traveled thousands, millions of times in your life. You have done it in infinite capacity. Oh, no. Every night when you go to sleep, every night in your dreams, do you not travel throughout vast distances of time and space? Do you not encounter sometimes loved ones long gone? Are you not literally moving through vast vistas? You know, vast distances and seeing new vistas? Yeah. What would you do?
I'm just trying to see if I could get it.
Yeah, but now we can't tell if we're.
I know.
What I'm saying to you kind of caught me off mid-sentence.
Well,
really
no, you can. I'm sorry.
I know, but you really kind of killed it, honey, because now I can't see myself talking.
All right, I'm
lost
sorry.
my train of thought, so.
I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all right. But yeah, that
I don't
was
mean
like
to be rude.
I apologize. It was a foolish thing to do. Just try to let go of your ego. Try to let go of your name, let go of yourself, and just be an awareness of everything. Just be that awareness. Just be without trying to be, so to speak, or even thinking about being, just as you meditate, as you ascend. Try to let your mind expand. Try to think of, not myself, but just self, in body, in my city, in my state, in my country, on my world, in my solar system, in my galaxy.
Exactly.
But truly start, when you go out and you look at the mountain and you feel that sense of distance, let your mind start to really understand the vast nature of distance, how huge the Earth is, how far the Earth physically to our 6-foot bodies are from the sun. You know what I mean? And to be aware that, again, physical shell can never compete with this. It's only the mind. It's only the thought. It's only that outside of the body, the cognizance that can travel these vast distances.
And that's
of course,
what we
people
did
understand
in
time
ancient
travel and
times,
space travel.
you know?
How could you go 69 million light miles? There's no way. It's only when you go to a higher level of pure thought, where it's just the thought in a different dimension, where the space and time don't correlate like that you can go in a thought from here to there.
Okay, can I say, because you're talking about stuff and they don't even understand. Like, I want to just get them to at least get to the point where they can even begin. So what I'm saying is, I have a couple of tricks, because I had a really, really hard time quieting my mind. Like, and women tend to have more of a hard time, because both of the hemispheres of our brain are active, and it just tends to make things a little more noisy inside of our heads. So my trick is something I learned from Wayne Dyer, and basically you start with a prayer. If you're of a Christian background, you can do the Lord's Prayer. That was his suggestion, but you can do a mantra or anything. It doesn't matter. If you have anger, you don't want to do a prayer to someone you're angry at. So you would say the prayer like
Avinu Shiba Shamayim Yitkadeh Shimka. Lord's Prayer in Hebrew, and by the way, perfectly acceptable to say it as a Christian.
Yeah.
There's a great site, HebrewsForChristian.com. Check it out.
Yeah. Anyway, so what you do is you start with you say Our Father, and then because of the way English is, there's a space between Our and Father, isn't there? There's a small, invisible space. You say Our Father. Okay. So what you do is once you get to Father, you let your mind fall back into the space between the words. And you just meditate on the space between the words Our and Father. You go Our, Father, and you fall into that space. You go, there's no space there, but that space creates the next word.
Because you're in the space where the actual intonation is reverberating into.
It's like it's almost like a quantum space kind of a thing. You're falling into the place where there's nothing, but the nothing creates the boundaries that are everything,
Like I said before, the is to be is constantly manifesting from the all that is into that which is and now was. And as you see, that's what that space between the gaps is. Yeah, and another one that I do is I listen. If you can just go out, like I said, this is harder for women to do. You just listen. Just listen to birds singing. Just listen to everything, and try to listen. So every time you're going to talk, you're going to hear yourself go, "Oh, that's amazing, I'm listening," and then you're going to go, "Oh," and then you broke it. But that's okay. You just go back to listening. Right. That's to me the easiest way to start tricking yourself into trying to be silent for a time. It takes time, and to me, I have to be honest. Cannabis really helped me. I'm very ADHD. And my mind is all the time. I'm always thinking, and it really helps me to focus. Right. In the sense that, traditionally in Buddhist, or even the samurai thing, as it were, the whole point of Zen is to literally still your mind to everything, including all the animal sounds, and kind of tune them. Not so much tune them out, but let them in and be only in your mind. Whereas when I studied with people who actually did ninjutsu, or ninpo, technically, is what we're going to call it, those in the ninja use what they call mikyo, which is kind of the opposite, where the literally tuning into everything around you. Instead of tuning out and becoming silent within oneself, one kind of dissolves outward and pays acute attention to the cricket, the bird, the rushing in the wind, and the you know what I mean, and literally becomes one of four elements. And it's funny because we learn the cycle of these little mudras, you know, basically it was like this.
Yeah, we should teach them this thing. This is kind of a public thing for the most part.
This, right, hold on a second. This, this.
These are used in ninjutsu in a slightly different form, and they have been scientifically proven to work.
Yeah, and that's why I forgot to shaman to Buddha. And then I was showing my buddy, he's like, oh, where did you learn that? And I'm like, why? He goes, you know, that's our mudras. And I'm like, oh, dude, my Cherokee teacher taught it to me, and he was actually part of a Buddhist system. He's like, but it's funny that things correlate, but the point is that within that system, what they're always doing is it's four elements. It's earth, fire, air, and not spirit, but ku, or the void, right? And you do you want earth element.
Yeah, there's a whole system to doing that. It's amazing.
And the way they fight, they don't fight in so much a series of preposition kata and form like most of the rest of the things do, especially the Japanese ones, is it's just when you're in your earth form, you're very rocky. You're solid. You're going to absorb blows like a wall. You're going to turn them down. You're going to be very structured, striking. Water, again, like you're bringing them in, you're slamming them down, you move the way the water does. Fire is just rapid strikes. Air is very much like a kilo. It's just completely moving around the opponent. You know what I mean? And again, the fact that it's just this true mindset you adopt, because at any given point, you know, in your life, in your day, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm this now. It recognizes that you are going to be in one of those emotional corresponding to elemental states, and to learn if you have to fight, obviously not the other way, to do so in that manner. It always really struck me as being very kind of genius and interesting. And I say the Mikyo teaching, when we would go to the Japanese garden valley, you would just meditate and literally try to continuously, simultaneously be aware of everything. And part of what they do for the black belt test is you have to sit there, you know, I didn't do this, I can say, but you sit there blindfolded or eyes closed and have to sense the guy behind you getting ready to whack you with a shinai, you know what I mean, and move before they can do it. And the really good ones are absolutely silent. They just not even a rustle of a sleeve. It's just they've learned to attune themselves. So do that. Instead of trying to tune everything out and drive yourself nuts trying to, I can't, just pay attention to it. Focus on it. Really listen to it. Listen to every little buzz of that bee or the sound, and notice how it makes a difference between when it's rustling the wind chimes and blowing through the leaves or hitting the brushes, you know what I mean? That'll really help you attune, and more importantly, ground with the earth, get into that bottom earth element, because that's what we're missing a lot of right now. Real quick, I'll show you a little thing that kind of tripped me out. And, you know, it's basically earth, water, fire, air, sin, and spirit, or ku, whatever you want to call it. And if you really look at it, that's kind of what happens in terms of the truth, what happens when you pass away, because the top one is the spirit, right? Well, that's the first thing that leaves. And kind of simultaneously, it goes with the air in your body. And the fire leaves your body as, you know, the heat dissipates from your corpse. Finally, your body desiccates, the water leaves, and all that's left is earth, and eventually earth turns to ash, and you return to one, and you're good. You know what I mean? So, yeah, feel free to go ahead and use that little mudra right there. Just put the pinky fingers interlock, everything else interlock, the earth mudra, and use it when you're sitting on the ground. Use it to ground yourself. Use it to meditate. Use it to pull in. Do the Mikyo thing, and just try to listen to everything around you and kind of tune into it and just be aware of how beautiful nature is. And you know, even if it's something like some guy's dog, you've been down the block, try to... Yeah,
seriously, nature is where we need to be, and it's just...
They're really trying to tune us out, folks. They're really trying to get everyone... I'm sorry. They're really wanting, I'm guilty of this. Focus on the screen, focus on TV, focus on the video.
Yeah, we
got a big backyard to tent, and I'm out there so little. It's ridiculous. Like, castigating myself, saying, man, go out and ground yourself. Literally, it's not a joke. To ground yourself means to be one with the earth, be one with the ground.
Yeah, because literally, biologically, when you stand barefoot on the earth, electrons come up through the earth and move up through you and ground your body in a battery-like manner, which those electrons actually act as antioxidants that replace the electrons which are lost through oxidation, through breathing, and through other processes. So this is one of the reasons I spend a lot of time barefoot, probably. Because I'm barefoot right now. Because I like to be barefoot at home. It's bad, though, because I get dirty. But
she's clean today, guys.
Today I'm pretty clean. But, there are real a lot of the spiritual stuff we're taught, there are actually real biological reasons we were taught them. And the people who taught them to us really understood just there's a science to it that's so profound. And it's really science. It's literally frequencies and electromagnetic ties between the stars. And like I've said this before, but there are certain stone doorways that exist around the world. One of them is somewhere in Greece that's dedicated to Sybil. And another one is Pumapunku, which somebody said they went through at least one time, but probably several people have said similar stuff. Several people said people have gone through. This guy came back with a story. So, and supposedly when the stars line up at certain times of the year, there are actually frequencies that change, that hit the quartz crystals in these doors that activate them. And I mean, that's a very primitive and childish understanding of that, I'm sure, because I don't know how you even set it up,
the same way
but it turns it on, basically.
Just like a computer filled with quartz and quartz chips, and the correct current runs through them, and the correct vibration, the correct sequence. Only instead of going through, there's a great sequence in the old Star Trek 4 where Scotty's trying to get through and he picks a mouse and he's all, computer?
Yeah.
Computer?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Do you guys remember that? And by the way,
it's something in reverse.
That shit's real now. What is it?
Transparent
aluminum is real. It's real now. It used to be a fictional, and now it's actually a thing. Go ahead.
I love it. But yeah, the point is it's kind of reverse. They just figured out to do things simply. The old keep it simple, stupid method worked best. And they were like,
stone lasts forever.
Here's the thing. We got to make sure that it's not like a key or some shit, because humans drop crap. They do. They just lose stuff. They're just prone to losing shit. It's just in their nature.
It's true.
You can give them talent and have keys to it. No, okay? So it's got to be something they can have with them at all time, right?
Yeah.
Well, voices work. They're busy yapping. Okay, make that. But then also it's got to be something that not just any schmo can use. They have to be trained. So basically, once they were taught how to correctly intonate, vibrate, harmonize, resonate, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because there's a sound key.
Do you remember that one South Park where they go to Imagination Land and he's singing that song? And they're like, "Oh, dude, shut the fuck up!" And they're going bananas. And they're literally like, "What was the song? What was the song?" Like, ah. And it was the key all along, some amazing funky key. It's the same thing, man. They just taught them how to do this weird warbly thing, and I have no idea. It could have been 3 bars like a syrinx, or it could have been like a goddamn epic opera. But when they would intonate it correctly, they would hit all the different things correctly. Portal would open, they'd flash through, and
that's how it works. Basically, it's like
it's kind of a genius when you think about it. In the sense that, like, it's simple, the key's always with you, but it's got to be a specific key. And again, someone I guess trying to like. I guess you could theoretically, it's like the old joke about where you get the guy with the rectal, the retinal scanner, and they shove his face up to the thing of the actual eyeball itself. I think it would have to be keyed so that if there was the least bit of doubt or guilt or fright or hesitation or pain,
it might be slightly DNA based.
Yeah.
There might be some kind of genetic.
You're like, you can try to force me, man, but it's not going to work under these circumstances or conditions. It's just.
Well, here's the story. The one story about an ancient story in Peru. When the Spanish came, one of the priests of Maru, the Maru,
right.
Yeah, he came out he had a golden disc, which was a key to Pumapunku, and he ran up there, put the key in, and he was said by the locals to have disappeared in a flash of light and never to have returned. So he basically escaped the Spanish by going into. And what's interesting is these doors, although they definitely go to another dimension, according to people, they are equated to the quote-unquote underworld and the quote-unquote Nagas and snake people. But they are not, the people who come out of them are not Nagas or snake people. They're tall people. They're like 7-foot-tall guys, apparently.
My guess is the underworld probably is fairly cohabit at this point. You know, I mean, it's like anything else.
But they live in another dimension. That's the whole idea. They're like, this is another dimension. It's not like it looks like it's a door in the earth, so you could imagine you were going underground, but it's probably not even going underground. It's going to another dimension, like I said. So you're like, and because the recent guy's story, here's what's interesting. The recent guy, he went in 2011 on 11/11/11, and I don't know what astrology was there, but he was there with it. What he did was he put his head in the keyhole where you would put the key, and he sang the song, and he apparently disappeared in front of people, in front of many witnesses. You guys can always chime in if you want. I don't know why you're so quiet today. It's like
well,
weird.
9 o'clock for most
Yeah,
of them,
it's
honestly.
really
We started
late.
way too late.
I know,
Sorry, guys,
you're right. It's so.
I keep telling her like 3 o'clock is the latest we should do.
No, but we had a hard time
we woke
sleeping.
up at 3, like just
because it was really hot, and we don't really have air conditioning.
So we're sorry, guys. We know it's kind of sparse because people are like, look, dude, it's coming on, 10 o'clock where I'm at, and I got shit to do even doing COVID.
Hey, I'm glad that you guys are here, though. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the point is, he went through this thing, and according to him, he was in a white room with a football field-sized black fluid in the center of it, and that was supposed to be our universe, okay? And there were lights and stuff along it. Apparently, our universe had been growing exponentially. They'd accidentally created our universe, and it's growing exponentially, and they had to stop it because it was going to destroy their universe. But they found a way to stop it, and it might be the great attractor that, like the astronomers will talk about the great attractor, like something is being drawn in one direction. This could be their doing to keep us from growing.
Polar wall, so was it 29 billion? How big is that thing?
Yeah,
15 billion light years across.
Yeah, it's
big.
It's basically, it's not a flat Earth thing. The South Polar Wall is another arm of the Milky Way galaxy we didn't see.
No, it's not our galaxy.
Oh, it's another galaxy.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about it then. I don't know.
Well, I don't have a thing handy. You know what?
Okay.
The old thing. Yeah, they found a new wall, which is just, it's so big that they didn't realize the continuity of it until they were able to pull back from multiple sources and go, oh, wow, that's all one big thing. Many billions of light years across.
So it's just a wall of stars, or?
Galaxies.
Oh, galaxies.
Oh. It's a huge band of galaxies. It's weird because apparently astronomers, they always thought it was, there's just these big clusters of tons of hydrogen, things, and then vast empty distances in between.
Yeah.
You mean there's either a lot of shit or nothing?
Yeah, apparently things in the universe actually build themselves along a certain sacred geometry.
Maybe we just like a computer with a whole lot of empty space in there, like, I got terabytes, man.
It's literally like there's a physical structure that that is invisible to us, that our suns will grow along, and then things will form. And we're so tiny compared to, it's like ridiculously tiny.
Wait.
What's very interesting, though, is the structure of this universe, the way the universe looks. The structure that the way the universe looks matches a certain cell that only humans have in their brains.
Sorry, guys. This is just like, we'll just interrupt this all day today, man.
We have the same cell in our brains that looks like our universe. So either our universe is inside someone's brain, or it's an artificial brain of some kind, possibly.
Yeah, quantum physics are just.
It's like, these are my theories.
Oh, man. Just want to say shout out, I don't know where, this new channel came called Soft White Underbelly, where this guy goes around interviewing
this
from
is
just some
real shit. Yeah.
Desperately impoverished walks of life and some horrible shit. And
there are things like,
to those who live these kind of lives.
This is why I'm glad the world is changing, because I've seen, just watching this show, this guy just interviews, like he interviewed, the one I saw yesterday was a homeless teenager.
Honey. Just go to Soft White Underbelly, look up.
I want to cry thinking about her. She's so sad. I can't even talk about it. It's just too, but there's just so much shit up there that I'm glad the world is changing, because like these girls and these dudes, they shouldn't be just abandoned, and they shouldn't be lost like they are, raised by horrible people, stuck in bad situations, trying to get out of them. And some of these are good people, like they forgive the people who abuse them. From their hearts, they forgive them, and they still have to live with the consequences.
Here we go.
Hold on, one guy's gonna anyway, I'm going to stop being sad.
Oh, really? It's a quiet one? Great. Okay. Well, I guess I'm narrating, guys. Give me 1 second.
Okay, he'll narrate it.
Astronomers discovered a mind-bogglingly huge structure in space.
Okay.
Man, your caption sucks. This vast structure, dubbed the South Pole Wall, is 1.4 billion light years across.
Wow.
In the zone of galactic obscuration. Well, that's pretty funny. Wall is a collection of hundreds of thousands of galaxies.
Whoa.
The South Pole Wall was discovered by peering at the sky in an area known as the zone of galactic obscuration.
Where they don't see very well.
Like the South Pole of the Galaxy Telescope. In this region of the southern sky, the bright light of the Milky Way blocks the objects near and behind it.
Yeah.
But the team got around that fact by looking at catalogs of galaxies in the region. So it's near the Dipole Repeller, the Perseus Pisces supercluster, the Shapley supercluster.
Oh.
It isn't the Great Attractor. You were correct in that. By analyzing the speed of galaxies in the zone of obscuration, the team was able to create a 3D map of the matter in the region. So yeah, basically they had to look behind the Milky Way to see this, and this is how they did it.
Very interesting.
This wall's a bubble of material centered on the southernmost point of the sky. So basically, if like the night sky's like a giant globe, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking at South Pole Point, there's a little band in front of it. That's our Milky Way.
Okay,
so yeah, Great Wing sweeps northward on one side toward the constellation Cetus, while a stubby arm sweeps toward the constellation Apus.
Basically, toward the south of the Earth, there's a large amount of galaxies and people or whatever. Oh, and there's something else I can mention.
As vast as the South Pole wall is, astronomers admit they still may not have mapped the extent of it.
Yeah, it's
so yeah, we
a weird spot of a lot of life and shit.
When I was a kid, it just gets bigger and bigger and more and more.
Here's what's interesting, though. There have been stars that have disappeared from the skies that astronomers have noticed, and several of them actually, honestly, several of them are actually saying it might be proof we live in the Matrix because they just disappeared with nothing. They just went like they weren't.
Yeah, it's not even like a Dyson sphere where
it's just they're gone. It's almost like the pixels just wasn't there anymore. It's one little pixel, one little light, poof, now it's gone. And so they're
somebody had to change an LED bulb.
Yeah. And now that star is gone. And I've had all kinds of crazy stuff talked about this universe, including that none of the stars are real,
we keep
all kinds of stuff.
Stars, as far as we know, stars do one of two things. They either go boom or they go womp. They go boom and then they go womp.
So, literally, it could be like we're living inside of a Matrix version of a universe that really does exist, And when you have a weird encounter, you're going to Mars, you're maybe going to Mars in that dimension, possibly, and not in this one, because this one might be fake, Honestly, I really wouldn't be surprised if this was some sort of a test thing.
Yeah. I think I told you guys about the dream I had where it had to be just like one-dimensional or because it was just like it is here. But one of the chief differences, and this is only applicable to people who live in Southern California, was that Laurel Canyon, instead of going over the mountain, went through it.
Yeah, exactly.
And
my son said
I remember, it was one of those really cognizant dreams you have where you're like, oh, I'm dreaming. No, I can't be dreaming. I know I'm not dreaming. I can't possibly be dreaming. I'm slapping myself. I feel myself, slap myself. This is a weird car. And I remember looking at Laurel Canyon going, no, Laurel Canyon has no fucking tunnel.
Yeah.
There's no, there's not. There's a little, no, there's no tunnel, Now, what is weird is that I don't know if you guys know this, but at the haunted hotspots in Hollywood, go to the very top of Laurel Canyon one of these nights around, between 2 and 3 a.m., especially on, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday nights. And you can look this up. And this goes way back, 1890s. Mm-hmm. You will occasionally, I personally have never seen it. All I've ever heard was a little horse clip-clop. And again, people actually do ride horses up there. But supposedly you will see an old coach, an old haunted carriage going along there.
Oh, wow.
Being led by a really bad, horrible, grievous highway robbery.
We actually want to start going out and looking at some UFO hotspots and ghost stuff too.
But yeah, it always occurred to me maybe one of the reasons all these things occur is they're occurring at these weird nexuses.
Yeah.
They're like these little portals between where they do kind of tend to cross or have a pin or something. For some
for instance, I talk about this a lot. Elizabeth Lake is supposed to have a portal to another dimension, but that's because Elizabeth Lake is the fault line filled with water. It's the San Andreas Fault is at the bottom of the lake, and so it's water plus this earth rubbing, creating electricity. It's like three elements coming together, and if we're in a video game, there could be little weird exploits like that. Which you'd say, how does that make sense in the real world? We might not be in the real world. That might just be they couldn't write that out of the game. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, that's a little border on the wall, when you're Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, exactly. There's little exploits that you can take advantage of that prove that you're in a game. If people with higher spiritual vision, and the same person I was talking about earlier has it too, we both will know corners, 90-degree angle corners things can come out of them, okay? It's a geometry thing that works because we're in a video game, probably. But spirits...
Angels are angles.
Yeah. It's angles and curves, and that's what Tote says in the Emerald tablets. Not the short version that everybody knows, the long version that might be channeled, but even if it's channeled, it's true, because I read that shit and I was like, this is all true. All of this is real. All of this is real. The halls of a Menti, all that stuff is real, And if he's the tote from that is Noah, in the sense that he was the last survivor of Atlantis who left on a boat with some people to survive. And he's not like some guy with a beard. He wasn't. Basically, he was nothing like the Bible says. He was just a guy. He was a priest. He was tote, basically. But there are other. Sometimes people will call Enoch tote too, although because they can both. They're both priests and they're both from the same line of people and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, there's a lot of discussion and dissension as to who is what and who was what to whom and who was what.
It gets really complicated, but there are a few. There are some energies. The planets represent like the different archetypal energies, and so do the constellations. Okay, they represent maybe stories more, and the way that they combine. And along with many other constellations that we don't even talk about in astrology anymore, but like there are all the stars in the sky affect you when you're born, all of them. It's just that we only pay attention to certain ones because they affect you more. So basically all of those combine in a sort of a computer-like way to give you a personality of some kind. And sometimes it correlates with certain that are already in existence within the mind of the computer, which is our collective unconsciousness in a sense, the Earth's consciousness. And so you can actually have a person who looks identical to somebody who used to exist. Or you can have three of them. As you know, there are many people have found many doppelgangers in the world, you know, because there's only a certain number of genes and there's only a certain number of things that can go around. Eventually it starts repeating itself, you know?
It's true.
It does. But like it's but you can do like you can this whole it doesn't matter. The whole thing is it's like it acts like a computer, but it's beneficial if you take advantage of it. If you want to, you take what cards you got, you work with them, you make them better until you get a hand that gives, because each time you do better, you get a better hand, you know. And if you're a magician and you really, really want it, or a wizard, you want to be a wizard, I would suggest you do the Golden Dawn style because it's energy and star-based mostly, and it's all about transforming yourself. And if you do that, you can have a chance of shedding karma after karma after karma and actually creating a new self right here and now. But it takes a shitload of work. That's the thing. It's just you have to really work at it. It can't be a hobby. It's kind of got to be, you meditate you got to basically be spending 2 hours a day doing something, you know, morning, night, take a little time at your lunch, you know, just carve out little bits of time to be putting into.
It's no joke about all the old wizards being white-bearded guys in the castle by themselves.
Yeah, it's true.
You have to become a fucking hermit and distance yourself utterly in order to give yourself that incredibly long period of time. And you look at a guy like Crowley, had all the money in the world at the time, but he was undisciplined.
Oh,
he was a drug addict.
He was.
And there's nothing more disciplined than a drug addict.
It's the truth. I'm sorry to say.
Personal pain.
I mean, he had a lot of good qualities.
Weakest mind of all. And like an idiot, he, in his fucking ego, you know what I mean? I got nothing against the guy Crowley personally. He's not one of my heroes. I like a lot of what he's written. I love his poetry. I think most are just kind of smattering of magical bric-a-brac, but trying to do the rite of Abramelin under the best of circumstances.
It's difficult.
Makes an Ironman triathlon look like fucking, I don't know, skipping a fucking stone across the sidewalk. It's ridiculous. For those who don't know, it entails separating yourself from all of society for 6 months. I mean, it's like you guys, we haven't been able to handle being quarantined for 1 or 2 months, okay? And we
Everyone. Only your wife is allowed to see you, and really you're not even allowed to have sex with her. Like, you are not allowed to have sex. You have to pray all the time.
That means you're going to
fast every day,
buddy.
Okay? Yeah, you're going to, it's about deep, you know, basically you might as well lock yourself in a room and pray all day. That's like really what you're supposed to do. But if you do it right, you will physically see your archangel when you do that ritual. It will appear to you as a physical being.
But if you do it wrong, if you quit at any time during the process, the corollary is you will see your darkness.
Yeah,
okay?
and he quit.
And the farther you get,
to let you know,
the harder it gets, which is why from the start you just got to be impelling yourself more and more to everything, because as you get along, it will try everything it can. You know what I mean? Your eyelashes, you know, will fall in your eye, and every little physical torment you can think of, every memory you think of, every thought, every buried, oh my God, it will all come to fuck with you. It will all come to fuck with you.
Yeah,
okay?
Like you got to be well prepared for you.
I just tried getting to mindset to think about doing something conventionalism on a much smaller scale.
I mean,
can tell you.
There are other ways to
there.
achieve the same goal that you don't have to go to that extreme. But if you want to physically meet your guardian angel, then it takes a lot. It takes a lot of effort to get something like that to happen. You have to really dedicate yourself. But, you know, everybody who's really on their way out spiritually, most of the time they have their Ketu, which is their south node of the moon, in the 12th house. And that will separate you from society in one way or another. People who are very unlucky and have that can go to prison, can go to insane asylums. You don't want it to have it if it's in a bad way. I have it in an okay way, and I'm separated in that I'm just bad at social things because I have autism. But, like, I've gotten much better over the years. I'm good with people as a group, but, like, I have a hard time reaching out to people. That's, like, my whole thing. So I'm lucky in that it's not that bad for me, but it is a thing where they want you to separate yourself, meditate, and really try to get to know God by doing, and it's hard if you're used to being around people and in the physical world all the time. It's so hard, and it's like you don't know why you have to give it up. It's like being a little child when they tell you go to school and you're like, I want to play. Why do I have to sit down? It's for your own good in the long run, and it's one of those. It's one of those things where it's good if you put the effort in, you're going to get the result out. Just a little, and if you're just starting, a little bit of meditation, guided visualizations, and some energy work every day will do you a world of good, okay? I mean, just learning and keeping learning all the time and doing a little work with your heart. Just breathe in your heart and feel that light, fill your heart. And as that light fills, it goes up your spine and it loops out and back into your heart. And as you breathe out, you see it go down your spine into the earth, and it loops up back as you breathe in. And this creates a loop within yourself of light. Every time you breathe in, you feel that light, and then you circulate it through you. That will do so much for your soul, for your heart, where the main part of your personality and the person that you are now exists, are actually brain cells inside your heart that I think probably connect to your deep unconscious stuff mostly. But then that's probably how it works. But you work on your heart. The heart is the strongest field, the strongest magnetic field in your body. And the way that you survive death as yourself in any form is you merge this little spark, which is a part of a God that is your father or your mother or both, basically. You merge that with this. By working with this, by feeling this, by letting yourself be with your heart, and when you die, these two fields will be matched and they won't separate. And that's how you stay you, if you want to, not everybody wants to stay themselves. It's fine. Actually, if you want to let go of this form, you have other forms that you could take. There's no rule about it. It's not wrong or right. It's about what hand you got and how much you think you can make out of it. You just do your best in every lifetime. You literally, basically, try not to make excuses for yourself. Try to hold yourself to a little bit of a higher standard. It's hard, and you'll see some benefit eventually. I can tell you, I see a lot.
Remember, deep down, you are truly a luminous being. You are so much more than this physical shell. And it's a beautiful shell. Don't hate the shell. The shells are nice, but they are just shells, and they will come and go. And it's that pure light inside of you that truly matters and is significant. And at a time of this, when there's so much darkness, I just hope you can all increase your light. I hope you all have a really good week. We appreciate you coming in every week.
Thank you for coming, guys. I love you. I love you all.
We're going
to make sure it's
so late next time.
Yeah, we're going to make sure it's by 4, and we're going to make sure to get our sleep schedule under control. Okay, I love you. I love you guys. I'm so glad some people were here. It made me so happy to see you. I love you.
Safe and well and happy.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Ooh. Ow. Wow.
What happened?